Welcome, welcome back. This is the New Year Review where we talk about books and all bookish content. So I decided I want to start this year off 2026 with a purpose and a mission to reach as many of my bookish family out there as I can reach. And in that plight, I do want to talk about some subjects that may be, how can I say, controversial. Um, I may not get a lot of agreement, on the topics that I am championing, but these are things that, that are important to me to put out there for everyone to know and understand. Part of the book community is to share books that are insightful, right? Not just, everyone's hot pick of the month or of the year, or when a movie is fortunate enough to make it from book to film. It is those books that I would love to highlight in this journey of reading in this leg of my life that is going to enhance my understanding of the world as well as people around me. So, introducing this series is books that I have used or I would like to recommend to not just homeschoolers, but books that I've used along the way that helped me out in my homeschooling journey with my son. Now, he is no longer in homeschool, he's a young adult now, but it was an interesting journey being with community, isolated from community, and I'm talking about in the educational realm, and then now this, and in all of those books and all that material and all those conversations and all those various community outlooks on education, it can get kind of murky when you are trying to do something that you see everybody else doing by the means of tradition. So I stepped away from that and I focused on cultural learning of myself or things that are not taught typically in our educational system, right? Like home economics. And with home economics, how to balance a bank account, like a checkbook or anything. Like everything is so digitalized now. Is that those things that mattered, they're not being highlighted in our educational system. So, in this series, I would like to bite away little by little by little, and you don't have to agree. Like, the goal is not to have everybody agree. These are things that I want to put out there, things that I would like for to share with educators, parents, homeschooler educators, it just in general, information that was insightful to me. So we're going to start this one off for this month. We're going to talk about books I think that would be helpful for any educator, homeschool educator or professional educator on their journey. Now, you may, like I said, you may not agree, but these are books that I felt like they were very helpful. The first one is a book that I found, and I started implementing little bit by little bit some of the things that I read in here. This is Write Better, Speak Better, How Words Can Work Wonders for You. This is a Reader Digest. I would say at the heart of it, this is a good book for like maybe an economics class because it not only just talks about how to write and speak better, it gives you challenges on basic courtesies. And I know that there's always going to be a cultural tie into it, but it really do talks about how to conduct business. It talks about how to talk about income and salary, writing a letter if you are contesting something that you don't approve of. It has so many various scenarios on how you can use this book and you can appropriate it culturally for how you want to engage in the material. So this is very helpful for me. We used this one time in doing letter writing to our officials, and I'm telling you, little bits by bits, like this was the one thing that helped me to think outside the box. The next one is the making of a story. This is a creative writing guide. Now, we do have our traditional, reading and writing text, but this one, it takes you a little bit further. This is more or less nonfiction creative writing. You have to excuse me, guys, because I think that's I'm gonna hold it right here because that just looks nasty. Um, the making of a story, and this was used for various reading assignments that, of course, that we engaged in. But the good thing about this book and what I love, and I actually still go through it right now today, are the exercises you engage in on honing in on type of nonfiction creative writing. And not only, the writing part, but how you articulate and express yourself. It will be transcended, once you have, I guess, created a method on how you will communicate with someone. This was great, you guys. This was probably one book that I would definitely, I'm holding this little stain right here. This would definitely be a book that throughout time, even now, that I take time out to, look at creative exercises that I can do for myself, and examples on how I can introduce myself to a nonfiction writing exercise. Now, this is a book that I would feel is a bit controversial, but it has to be shared. As an educator, some of the things that I would go over and be mindful of, not just go over, is the separation of fair but equal education in the Board versus Education, Black America's Struggle for Equality. Richard Clark, he done an excellent job in, how can I say, telling a story of how Thurman Marshall, our first African American justice, argued with the against the United States Supreme Court for equal justice of education. And so this is one of those landmark stories that it is never really mentioned in the classroom, let alone the educational realm of people that I've been around. Now, you may have, but I have not. And so this is an ongoing conversation that we should be having about our children and their future. Is it fair to say, since segregation, nothing has really gotten better in terms of how our kids are how they are desegregated? Because you could be in a diverse school with various people and still be segregated, isolated to your own group. And so another book that will help you with that is why are all the black children sitting in the cafeteria? That is a great book to start. But yeah, that is a book that was helpful to me. And last but not least, These Truths. I think I've mentioned this on this particular channel so many times. These Truths, A History of the United States, Jill Lepore. This is probably one of her top books that I go to all the time. So in this, we actually use this as a history book text. So we did from the front to the back, from cover to cover. Very insightful of how this type of history is not taught in our classes here in the States. And so I encourage parents and educators alike, if they want a sound, robust conversation about history and um, whose story we should be telling, this is a good start. Um, I would recommend that this would be like a community read and not an isolation read, because like for me, I always like to talk these things through with other people to see what their ideas and their thoughts and opinions are about a particular era in learning, and this would be one of them. So, in saying that, come back for more, because every month I'm going to be dishing out recommendations on books in subject matters that's going to help us in our education for a better world. So, in saying that, I will see you next time. Hope is hoping you're all well wherever you are in the world. I'm getting tongue tied, you guys, because I don't know if it's excitement or doing all this batch video work. We'll see. We'll see. You're not supposed to know that, but like this is like maybe my 5th video I've done. So, but yeah, like when I think about these topics, I just want to get into it. So saying that, I will see you guys later, wherever you guys are in the world. Enjoy yourself and take care. Bye bye.